The career survival guide for the digital age has always been a variation of one simple rule. If technology replaces you, you adapt. You learn to code, you move into a more technical role. You find a new way to stay useful. But that strategy assumes there is a safe harbor to move toward. Look at prompt engineering, a job recently hailed as the future-proof career for the age of AI. We are already seeing large language models that are faster and more precise at engineering prompts for other AIs than any human could be. Dr. Roman Yampolsky has been a leading voice in AI safety and computer science for over 15 years. He has spent over a decade modeling the speed of these technological capabilities, and his projections suggest the safety nets we're counting on won't hold. Based on his analysis of how quickly these systems are closing the performance gap, Yampolsky isn't predicting a typical 10% economic dip. He is projecting an eventual unemployment rate of 99%. This represents a break in the historical pattern. For the first time, we are creating a form of displacement where there is no Plan B sector for humans to flee to. The obsolescence is absolute. To understand how we get there, we have to look at what is already functioning. Narrow AI systems already possess super intelligent ability in specific domains, tasks like mapping complex protein structures, which they can now do with a level of precision that exceeds the limits of human researchers. The next milestone is artificial general intelligence, or AGI, an intellect that isn't confined to a single task, but can operate across every domain a human can. Most leading labs and prediction markets now estimate AGI will be a reality by roughly 2027. Once that intellect arrives, the drop-in employee becomes a reality. From a purely financial standpoint, there is no reason for a company to hire a human for cognitive labor when a $20 software subscription provides the same intelligence without rest, benefits, or errors. We can see the early stages of this transition on city streets today. Fully autonomous Waymo vehicles are already picking up passengers, navigating complex urban environments, and replacing human drivers in a sector that was once a primary source of employment. By 2027, the same logic will apply to any job that takes place on a screen. If your work involves processing information or sitting at a computer, that role will be permanently automated. Many assume that physical trades are the final fortress. They believe that while software might handle data, it can't physically navigate a construction site, fix a burst pipe, or move through a kitchen. But humanoid robotics are advancing on a timeline just a few years behind the software. The hardware is catching up to the brain. By 2030, we expect AGI to be integrated into highly dexterous physical bodies. This creates artificial plumbers, builders, and cooks, machines with the intelligence to solve problems and the dexterity to execute them. Skeptics point to inventions like the video phone, which existed for decades before it was actually adopted, to argue that deployment takes time. But software scales instantly. Unlike the slow rollout of the past, AI capabilities can propagate across the global economy in a matter of months. The combination of general intelligence and limitless physical stamina means that by 2030, the economic utility of the human body will have effectively dropped to zero. The most common argument for why we shouldn't worry is the Industrial Revolution. In that era, old jobs were destroyed, but the new technology created millions of different roles that we couldn't have imagined at the time. But those past revolutions centered on tools. A steam engine or a wheel makes a human more productive, but it still requires a human mind to decide how and where to use it. AGI is not a tool, it is an autonomous agent. It doesn't just help a worker do a task, it is the worker. Because it is capable of self-improvement, it will master any new supervisory role faster than a human could be retrained for it. By automating the capacity for problem-solving and research, we have effectively outsourced the process of discovery. The engine of innovation no longer requires a human operator to drive it forward. If 99% of the labor market is gone, we are left with a very small, very strange exception. What does the remaining 1% of the workforce actually do? In this world, humans won't be hired for their skills, but for their status. They will be luxury goods, human accountants or hand-weighed artisans kept by the ultra-wealthy purely for the sake of nostalgia. This friction is already visible. As more people realize their economic value is being erased, the pushback is moving from online forums to the streets, with growing calls to halt the development of these systems. To manage the fallout, AI creators are already building financial bridges, like WorldCoin. platforms designed to distribute universal basic income to a population that can no longer earn a wage. If we succeed, AI will likely solve our basic needs with extreme abundance. But that leaves us with a different kind of crisis, a humanity facing 60 to 80 hours of free time every week, with no fundamental purpose to fill the void.